The past week for Xbox has been pretty insane for news. Not only did we get the announcement of Project Helix, the next-gen Xbox, but also a ton of news surrounding new game announcements, Game Pass news, and even some new first looks at some highly anticipated releases that you need to check out in this video. With that, my name is Fletcher, and this is Xbox Nation. Welcome back to the weekly Xbox news video, where I cover all of the stuff that occurred over the last week. With that though, let's dive right into the news, because there's a ton to cover in today's video. First up, it's totally worth mentioning that we did actually get the huge Xbox Game Pass news drop as of Tuesday, and we now know of the games that are coming our way for the first half of March. This does include some pretty decent games in my opinion, and although it's not as strong as some other weeks so far this year, the inclusion of stuff like Cyberpunk 2077 and Planet of Lana 2 make it quite worthwhile. Personally, I do highly recommend that you jump into Planet of Lana 2, as it's an excellent follow-up to the first game, and it tells such a great and emotional story. I haven't seen as much buzz around it, which is certainly a shame, as I rated it so bloody highly. If you do want to check out my review here on the channel, it is live right now. But yeah, a decent Game Pass offering, but I expect we'll see more news about Game Pass this week. In case you missed it, and as part of its latest Spotlight showcase this week, the team over at Capcom have announced that its upcoming action game known as Pragmata will now release a little bit earlier than it was originally planned. Instead of the prior release date of the 24th of April, Pragmata will now launch on Friday the 17th of April. And that comes along with the announcement that the title will release a week earlier than expected, and we even got another look at the title, which I've actually been playing you on screen now. You can actually still play the demo for this one, which I believe is live on the Xbox store right now, and I highly recommend doing so, as this game is completely different to what I even expected. I'm still a little bit mixed on it personally, but I would be keen to hear your thoughts on Pragmata down in the comments below. The largest bit of news over the past week though has to be for Project Helix and the huge announcement published by the new Xbox CEO over on Twitter on Thursday. I did actually cover all of the details about this in a follow-up video on Friday, so check that out if you haven't had a chance to yet, but basically it was announced that Xbox are now working on their next generation console with the name Project Helix. Of course, this is the code name for the console, but not the official name, but even so, that title is just way better in my opinion than the current Xbox naming convention we have at the moment. I won't delve too much into the details, as I mentioned, I did cover most of that in my previous videos, but basically the big confirmation that came alongside this announcement is that this new Xbox will play Xbox and PC games, which is just huge news. It does mean that native Xbox games will be playable alongside PC releases, and that's going to open up our catalogs even more. My back catalogue right now is just cowering in fear of what will be added to that selection, but there we go. Still, this is exciting news for sure, as many of us Xbox fans have been clamoring for more news, which I do expect later on this year. GDC is currently taking place over this current week though, and I will cover more news if it does drop, and I totally expect it will do. But talking of which, we have seen something from GDC already, which you need to check out. GDC is obviously going to be a pretty big event for Xbox and also developers, and although it's not a consumer-facing show like we see with Gamescom and even Summer Games Fest, I do expect us to have some news that will trickle through, and the first bit comes from Lord Cognito over on Twitter. It's nothing really too exciting, but it does give us an idea about where Xbox is currently at, and it signals a bit of a potential shift. So there were some pictures taken outside of GDC and some inside bits of the booth for Xbox this year, and alongside seeing the proud display of all the consoles over the last 25 years, there seems to be an emphasis on the new taglines, that being the future of Xbox starts now and build what's next for Xbox. I know many are trying to dissect that tagline, and according to a few insiders and different press publications at GDC already, this is all but confirming the info that we saw the other day regarding PC ports and them being really simple to now bring to the newest Xbox hardware. There was a bit of a mention about the whole "this is an Xbox" branding similarities, but many have already said that this remains for the look of it, but the whole narrative and appeal has changed quite dramatically over the past few days. Like I said though, it's not really much for us to go into at the moment, but do stay tuned for more updates on the channel. Like I said, I will drop more updates and more videos as they come surrounding GDC. Do make sure to subscribe as well, as over 68% of you are not subscribed, and I would love for you to join the largest independent Xbox channel here on YouTube. In a whisk away from hardware though, we did get some cool new details and new gameplay emerge for the upcoming release of Forza Horizon 6. This is actually coming from IGN, and although they have used some really horrendous bitrate here to really record this footage, it gave us a better insight into the world of Japan that we get to experience this May. It is also worth noting that they did turn down the amount of traffic to showcase the world, although that wasn't really actually stated until the video went live and they had to put a note out over on Twitter. Although this gameplay is at least uncut and does show us what it would be like to cruise around in Forza Horizon 6, the video is also opting to go with that sort of 30 FPS featuring heavy motion blur look, and it doesn't look that great, but hey, at least it gives us an extended look at the game outright. At least we got a little bit better look at Japan without those heavy edits. This past week has also seen quite a few games being announced for Xbox, and although I can't really cover every single one of them in today's video, it's a shame that as few of these haven't actually been widely talked about, as a couple are actually pretty noticeable releases. The first is Warhammer 40k Speed Freaks, and while we don't have an exact date for when we'll be able to dive into the chaos, the game has officially been announced for the Xbox Series X and S, and that's after spending quite some time exclusively over on PC. To be honest, this one looks like great fun, is bringing high levels of customization and combat to the racing genre, like only Warhammer 40k can really do. The reviews have been insanely positive across the board over on PC, which is great to see, and as someone who really does love Warhammer myself, I just cannot wait to delve into this one. Ereban Shadow Legacy has also received a firm release date over the past couple of days, and it's actually coming sooner than I really anticipated. The fast-paced stealth platformer title has already been out as well over on PC via Steam for almost 2 years now, and at the time of launch there was a talk of a console edition somewhere in the future, but that never came to be. Well, that's going to be finally happening now, as the game will arrive on the 16th of April. As mentioned, this is a fast-paced stealth platformer game where you become Ayana, the last descendant of a forgotten race. You will harness mystical shadow powers, high-tech gadgets, and then avoid or kill to uncover the truth about your past and the key to saving a dying and morally great universe. It's a bit of a weird one with this one because it was originally coming to Game Pass, but that's no longer the case. But hey, we'll just have to keep our eye on that one. It is also worth noting that the Coin game, which I did actually highlight I believe a couple months back now, is a hugely popular PC-only title, and it's also leaving its early access on the 19th and will be landing onto Xbox consoles on the same day. I won't lie to you, before even hearing about this game a couple months ago, I didn't even know what it is, but it has got overwhelmingly positive reviews over on Steam from over 5,000 people. From what I can see so far, this is an open world game where you're the sole human on an island full of robots, and the game centers around light survival elements but has you playing loads of different arcade games and just taking in the scenery. It kind of seems weird to me how games like this have been so popular, but I guess we'll see what the fuss is about very, very soon. In a very random news drop as well, Ubisoft has suddenly released the first piece of concept art for Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced, and is finally confirming its long-awaited remake that has been rumoured for just bloody years at this point. Ubisoft then included the image on a blog post which offers a little bit more detail on the blockbuster franchise's future, including word that post-launch support for Assassin's Creed Shadows is now being wound down. That ultimately means that Ubisoft focus is now going to be firmly on the future, though the series' next all-new Assassin's Creed entry, called Codename Hex, sounds like it's quite a little way off at this point in time. In the meantime though, Ubisoft has last begun acknowledging its upcoming AC Black Flag remake, which is expected to arrive at some point later this year. We also got a little update for Unity at the same time, which now includes 4K 60 FPS support on the Xbox consoles, which is nice, and I totally recommend it if you haven't delved into Unity yet. What do you think of this concept art though? Are you excited about this Black Flag remake? You'll have to let me know down below. Personally, as someone who, you know, has an Assassin's Creed tattoo on his arm, I'm really hyped for this one. That tattoo there is actually from Rogue. I love Black Flag, I love the naval ship combat and all of that within the Assassin's Creed games, and I just cannot wait to see how this fares later on this year. In some other great news, the team behind the City Skylines series has announced a bunch of brand new content for the first game, which launched all the way back in 2015. Still, we're going to get some free and paid DLC as the struggles continue with its sequel, including its console release as well. We were actually supposed to get City Skylines 2 on Xbox, including Game Pass, quite a few years back now, but for now it's only launched on PC Game Pass. That's because the sequel recently switched developers after struggling with optimization efforts, so they've gone back to the first game now to provide us with some extra content before this one hopefully arrives. I wanted to say this year, but it'll probably be into next year now. Thankfully though, both the Xbox One versions and the Series X and S versions of City Skylines will remain on Game Pass for the foreseeable, so the upcoming free patch, which adds a few things like adding roadside fences, new employment info and a little bit more, will be available to all of the subscribers at no extra cost. This free content will arrive on the 10th of March alongside some new paid expansions as well for the first game, so at least you've got more content to dive into. As I was putting together this video today, some news just dropped via friend of the channel, Jez Gordon, over at Windows Central, and some pretty juicy stuff has occurred, and it's from an internal Q&A which occurred over at Xbox last week from both Satya Nadella and Xbox CEO Asher Sharma. Apparently, this internal Q&A was hosted to discuss Microsoft's top-down vision for gaming. Nadella was donned with an Xbox hoodie, and from what I've read so far, it was honestly refreshing to hear Satya Nadella speak so positively about the Xbox division as a whole, especially as we've heard all the rumors lately about high-end targets and what they expect the Xbox team to hit within the next couple of years. During this though, it was actually emphasized by Nadella that gaming remains one of Microsoft's core identities, and he confirmed that the company is long on gaming. He then promised continued investment in both consoles, games, and just the wider platform as a whole. It was also said that Sharma also acknowledged Xbox's recent challenges, including shifting strategy and fan concerns, but she did say her focus is on empowering creators and then strengthening the connection with the existing Xbox community. While Xbox still faces a lot of big hurdles, from the weaker hardware momentum to questions around exclusives and marketing like we already have, Microsoft does believe that the Helix ecosystem and renewed focus on gaming could actually help the brand rediscover its edge in the years ahead, and that actually has me quite excited as an Xbox fan, and I hope it does for you as well. If you do want to check out the full Q&A though, I have left the link down below over to the Windows Central article, and a big shout out to Jez as well, he always does an amazing job over there. While down there though, do make sure to hit a like button if you enjoyed this video, and do subscribe for more news videos like this every single week, and for more Xbox only content on a daily basis. I want to give a big shout out as well to our channel members for your continued support, and if you want access to videos early, exclusive Discord members only chats, emotes, and so much more, then click our join button down below. With that though, do check out the video on screen now if you want to check out all the details about Project Helix and what you can expect moving forward surrounding the next generation Xbox consoles.